Greetings, it's Jess, and I am here with your Lunar Energy Advisory for the Sagittarius New Moon happening on November 30th. This episode will also bring you your winter horoscope. Some of you know that I write for a magazine, and as a writer for that magazine, I made sure that they have an astrology column at the back, an astrology spread at the back with winter horoscopes, what to expect this season. So you will be getting that as a special added treat. So 2 weeks ago, we had the Taurus full moon, which was exactly conjunct Uranus. Don't laugh. It was on Uranus, a full moon. This brought a rude awakening, a random incoming or a surprise landslide to your health, or your possessions, your car, your home, your job. Something you own and or depend on went awry in some way in order to push you to evolve. There is a natural law in the animal kingdom that when this kind of thing occurs, a species must adapt, migrate, or die. So, which one of those tracks are you on? This week we have a new moon in Sagittarius. So the stars of Sagittarius form a centaur. We know that image. And a centaur is a creature that is forced to reconcile their higher conscious mind, right? Head of human being on the centaur, with the primal energy and passion of those four legs, hooves, and the tail. It's the gift of cerebral wisdom and intuitive guidance in order to direct our physical pursuits. Now, whether or not we actually make use of that wisdom is another story entirely. That is up to you, my friend, and your free will. So, the big theme for this Sagittarius new moon happening on November 30th, and really the big theme for the remainder of 2024 is be kind, rewind. Be kind, rewind. All you old blockbuster Hollywood video fans will remember that. Sagittarius season arrives annually, every year, to spread the mirthful glow of the holiday season. It's the 4 weeks of family travel and Charlie Brown Christmas specials, mashed potatoes, twinkling lights, and everyone comes together to eat, drink, be merry. We eat, drink, and be merry, and recount, tell the stories of things we have seen this year, things we've done, accomplished, where we want to go. As the hours of sunlight outside lessen, the days get shorter, we turn more and more to the light found inside ourselves and inside those near and dear to us. We also turn to the light of the faith that we have that there's more for us on the other side of the next calendar year. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter in this sign, well, in Pisces as well. Jupiter has a lot to do with your relationship to God and religion and what lies beyond, and an expanded sense of self and purpose. So Sagittarius can be kind of high and mighty and holier than thou when they get a little too big for their britches, but there is a philosophical quality and a gravitation towards justice. So what is right, what is wrong, what is my sense of purpose, morality, the higher mind concepts of philosophy and religion up here, right? But it's a centaur, so the legs want to travel. Sagittarius is notorious for, I want to travel, I want to explore, I want to go on adventures. I'm gonna speak and teach without really knowing if it's true or not, but I feel like it's true, and by the time I say it, I'm already way over there, so you can't catch me to make me research and fact check myself. This Sagittarius season is a bit complicated though. So yes, the holidays, regularly scheduled programming is going on when you turn on the TV and when you go to the shopping stores. It looks like business as usual on the surface, but inside we're all like, something's different this year. I kind of don't feel like it. That magic of the holiday season, it's not grasping me the way that it did once upon a time. So this time, right now, with this new moon, Mercury is also in Sagittarius. Mercury is the planet that is closest to the sun, so Mercury is never more than a sign away from the sun. It's right there. It's right. It's wingman, right? Literally, because Mercury was the messenger with the wings. It could go down to Hades and it could go up to Mount Olympus. It had that unique mercurial quality, which is why signs having Mercury as a ruler, Mercury as a planet imbues kind of a trickster energy. You never know. That's why Gemini has that, two-faced twins mentality. You don't know if you're getting the good one or the bad one because they can be duplicitous and kind of trickery. Like, oh yeah, I love lasagna. I'll totally eat lasagna if you invite me over. And then somebody's like, hey, you said you love lasagna so much. Why don't you come on over? We're having a lasagna party. And you make up an excuse to not go because you didn't want to. Lasagna is on my mind because my Thanksgiving plans are making lasagna with somebody. So I enjoy it as long as it's, the kind of stuff that I'll eat. Anywho, a little bit of why that was on the top of my head. We're also going to watch Garfield. Isn't that nice? Just we're going to make lasagna and watch old Garfield cartoons. That sounds like an awesome, authentic holiday that I would enjoy. And I'm doing it. Hey, life can be a dream. Yes. So, right now, Mercury is also in Sagittarius along with the sun and the moon. The sun is your ego, your identity, the light you're chasing. The moon is your emotional body, your anxieties, your mental anxieties, uncertainties, and also how you're taking care of yourself. So people with moon in Sagittarius, you might feel nurtured or take care of yourself when you go exploring or when you're, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm going to buy a plane ticket and just go to the first random country that I hear the name of, or I need to turn to philosophy when I feel lost. So let me go find a philosopher that speaks about the human condition, or isolation. So with Mercury in Sagittarius, it's actually really far away from its home sign of Gemini. So Mercury is at home in Gemini and Mercury is at home in Virgo. Mercury in Gemini is a very outward, hey, let's talk, I have a question, let me learn from you, let's get through this together, what do you know, what do I know, let's collaborate. Local. Mercury in Virgo is more in. What am I bringing in? I'm going to research by myself. I'm in the library, I'm flipping, I'm on Wikipedia, I'm synthesizing all this information that I'm bringing in so that I can find the information I need to lay out a precise process for how I want to do the thing I want to do. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, it is as far away from its home sign of Gemini that it can be, because Gemini and Sagittarius share an axis of polarity. So they're two halves of the same. So if Mercury, it rules our thought process and how we gather information and process decisions, having Mercury in Sagittarius, either natally, very much so, or now it's a particular flavor that we're all subject to, the mouth moves faster than the mind. That's what happens when Mercury is in Sagittarius. The mouth moves faster than the mind. We say too much, we interrupt, we declare with no follow through, we offer unsolicited opinions and advice ad nauseum. It's really that quality when you're in a conversation and you're not even listening to what the other person is saying because you have a thing that you want to say, or you have a really funny joke, and if this person says one more sentence, it's going to be too late for you to get your funny joke out, so you got to say it right now and interrupt. You can steamroll. Hot, fast speech with or without certainty. This can be a problem because when we fail to listen, we fail to grasp the details that are necessary. So maybe somebody has something important that we need to hear, but we really wanted to get a joke out or make a pun or say, tell a story about, oh, that reminds me. Well, one time when I was, walking the Camino de Santiago, and now you just stuck your foot in the middle of a conversation that could have helped you get information that you needed. So listening and waiting for details, especially why? Because right now we have Mercury retrograde. Oh no, yes, it's here, it's happening. Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. So not only is Mercury far away from its home sign and kind of out of character, but it's also retrograde. So it's, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. It's like my life got flipped, turned upside down. The other interesting component about this is in this particular instance, not only is Mercury as far away from Gemini as it can be over in Sagittarius and retrograde, but hey, in Gemini, we have Jupiter, also retrograde. So Mercury is retrograde all the way over in Sagittarius. Jupiter is retrograde. Jupiter belongs in Sagittarius. Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. And now Jupiter is retrograde all the way across the sky in Gemini. So these two homies got switched at birth. Fire those doctors because, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here. Nope, they're over there. They're in their separate places. Mercury is a lawyer and Jupiter is a surgeon, and they showed up at each other's jobs. So, you got the lawyer doing the surgery and you got the surgery person trying to sort through the legal system. And it's just, a comedy of errors. This is where the rewind portion of our theme comes in. Be kind, rewind, that's our theme. You're going to want to rewind because there's a high risk for dispersal and distraction. Gemini and Sagittarius are very distracted signs. ADHD is a acute condition. I recently learned that actually ADHD means your attention is attention higher dimension, attention dialed in, attention dialed to higher dimensions. And that makes sense. Because I have very, very strong Gemini energy in my chart. So I'm always like this, that, what, who, at. Like I said, thoughts like tentacles of octopus, 8 at once in different places. Okay, this is why I script all of my podcast episodes, even though I rarely adhere to them. There's just so much to say. Mercury and Sagittarius. So there's a high risk for dispersal, distraction, and saying one thing when we mean another, or when we have not verified the details, we're just spreading information that may or may not be true, may or may not be certain, may or may not be true anymore if we're not stopping and waiting to see, like, is this still true? Let me check in with this person. Are they still available at that time? Is this still going to work? Is that store still offering that discount? Are we still welcome to go to this grandma's house for the holidays? Maybe there was a situation with another family member, and now maybe it's not best if we go there. So checking in constantly is going to be your best friend until the end of the year for everything. Buying gifts specifically also. Hey, we know your daughter really likes ponies, so we're gonna go shopping and get her some pony thingies. And it's like, no, she doesn't like ponies. She actually really doesn't like horses anymore. She's more into like latch hook or some kind of crafting thingy. So the pony toy is gonna just be a waste of money. You want to get some creative crafty thing, go to Michael's. So in 1 week, it gets a little bit even more complicated. So we're adding another layer of confoundery to this confoundery cream pie. In 1 week on December 6th, Mars also goes retrograde. So now you got Mercury, you got Jupiter, you got Mars going backwards. And at a time of year when things move fast, when we're normally pressured, right, by family, by social conventions, by the people waiting in line for our parking spot at the shopping center, we're doing too much at once. We have the cooking, the driving, the planning, the arranging, the wrangling, the shopping, the hosting, the attending, wrapping up work things. We're really being pressed right now to just stop, just pause, freeze frame the chaotic scene around you and take a deep breath, seize the stillness, carpe stillness, and look at the elements surrounding you in midair and just say, okay, do I even want this? Is this even true for me? Why am I doing this? Why am I participating in this? Why is this person next to me? Do I want this person next to me? Do I get along with this person? Are we going in the same direction in our lives? Reanalyze the frenzy. It's retrograde. So we're given the opportunity to, stop, take a beat and say, okay, do I want to keep going down the same path that I'm on right now? In anything that is in your life, if it's a relationship, a job, health, and how you're spending your time. Because at the end of the day, as a human being, the only two things you have are your time and your energy. Money you can make more of, that comes and goes, that's a currency. The things that are yours that you really need to be stingy with are your time and your energy. You don't get those things back as easily. Time especially. So who is all this for? Pause it. Who is this all for? Does it matter to you? Is this the life are you directing your life in this moment, or is somebody else's expectations directing your life in this moment? And is this a consistent thing? Because every once in a while, we have to surrender power to be in service to somebody else. But if it's always, and it's like, I never get to steer the ship in my own life, you gotta look at that, right? The planets are going backwards, Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, and talking to each other in these backwards, they're making aspects to one another. They're giving you a chance to go inward and to sort that out, deliberate, time out on the playing field, huddle up. Hey, me, hey, my Mercury and my Jupiter and my Mars retrograde. What are we doing here, guys? Do we really want to be here? This is where the be kind portion of our theme comes in. Be kind, rewind. Yes, take the seasonal calls. It's on, it's written in tinsel across city boulevards and on felt flags hanging up in your Walmarts and your Targets. Peace on earth and mercy mild. Yeah, take that to heart. Have some peace and some mercy mild for you and for everyone else, because everyone else is going through this internal kerfuffle of who am I, what do I still want, what's true for me now, what do I need to leave, and how messy is that going to be? Everyone is in that process right now. So be kind to you and to everyone else. It's not a time to be demanding of anything. It's a time to adapt, migrate, or die. Sometimes a death cycle is necessary and something needs to go away. Then we make space. That's the only way to make space for something new to come in. Or are we adapting? Are we saying, hey, yeah, I still want to be a part of this, but not in this way anymore, because that's too much for me. You're expecting too much from me, and I'm here, and I need really, if this is going to work for me, I need to come down to this level, and I need you to come up a little bit. So adapt. Or are you going to migrate? Are you just not in an environment that suits you? Sagittarius, Centaur, take your hooves and go off somewhere else. Trot along to greener pastures where you have room for you, where you have room to expand your sense of self and to really flourish. Are you in survival mode or are you in thrival mode? What conditions do you exist in at this moment? Yes. Be kind enough to yourself to not repeat or retread the same paths and the same routines that leave you depleted, limited, and harmed. 3, right? Depleted, limited, harmed. Don't walk those paths anymore. Get off the circle. It's not a NASCAR track. There's more than one way. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Yes, I'm 34 and a half. I just had my half birthday. Congratulations, me. And I'm finally old enough to understand you don't fall in love with potential. You can't, oh, I can get him to like meditating. I can get him to eat organic food. I can get him to stop, using seed oils. I can convince him that astrology is real. If they're not there, if they're not already on board, then it's not your job to deadlift them onto the ship with you, okay? Don't fall in love with potential. If a situation has been just a slog for years and nothing has changed, then the situation is a slog. So are you going to adapt, migrate, or let it die? And these seem like big things. Yes, these are big, bold moves, and that is a part of this season. I'm not saying you need to cut ties 100%, don't talk to me, you're dead to me. But give yourself the kindness to create space from the dynamic. We're pausing it and we're creating some space and we're looking at it and we're being like, to what degree am I still able to participate in this? To what degree do I need to step away for a while and sort myself out to see what of this I still want? That's where we're at right now. So, if you need to break away, do it, and test drive a different way of being. We're test driving. That's it. Happy Honda Days, Toyotathon. It's a December to remember at your local Lexus dealer. Take it for a test drive. There's no commitment. It's just, okay, I'm going to take a week and I'm going to go see what this is like. Or I'm going to say no to this time, this year. And, see what else I can do with my time, my energy. There's a big call at this moment, and I'm hearing it from different sources, different spiritual containers, to really be honest with yourself and where you are withholding love. Where are you withholding love? If you are withholding love from others and purposefully putting up walls, you are ultimately only withholding love from yourself. That's how that works. You're building a wall to keep them out, but you're building a wall to, you're stuck behind that wall by yourself. And sometimes that's the safest place to be. Don't get me wrong. But just look at where are you withholding love? Where are you denying the flow of warmth and acceptance? And maybe warmth and acceptance only exists when you build that wall. That can be true. When you have somebody fire hosing their way of doing things, their opinions, then yeah, there's no space, and you're going to need to build that wall to create some acceptance around yourself for you to foster yourself and regroup. But you beautiful creature out there, you were made to receive opportunities. You were made to be able to make use of your gifts. You were made to be valued for who you are. And if that's not happening around you, it's time to press pause and see, to what degree can I still participate in this? As Venus moves through Capricorn, as she is now, she will make a conjunction with Pluto, which just moved into Aquarius for good. Hello, Age of Aquarius. There's going to be a real nurturing softness to limiting how we spend our time and our energy. There's going to be a real nurturing softness and a regrouping solace in not overextending ourselves, right? Not, participating in conversations, not stringing things along. It's just like, I'm out this year. It's a no for me right now. Respectfully, love you. Thank you so much. I have other arrangements. I've made other plans. Prioritize your values And if you don't know what your values are, because it's been a while since you checked in with yourself, prioritize creating that time to check in with yourself. Do that huddle up. Hey, Mars. Hey, Jupiter. Hey, Mercury retrograde. Where am I at? Where am I going? Because as Mars goes retrograde through Cancer, starting December 6th and through the end of the year, it's a really critical time to look at where you have been chained to someone else's emotional expectations, especially when it comes to family because of Cancer. But Mars and Venus are going to be opposing each other when Mars is in Cancer and Venus is in Capricorn, again, axis of polarity. Yeah, there's going to be a square off. Like, where am I being loving to myself and creating the resources that I need, Venus in Capricorn, and where am I acting out of emotional obligation to this figment of imagination, somebody else's idea of happiness, stability, comfort, Cancer. So, big stuff. Be kind, rewind. Here are some closing words of wisdom to guide you through the last weeks of 2024. Number 1, fact check. Not only information, but intuition, okay? With all of this hot air going around, with Mercury in Sag and Jupiter in Gemini, fact check your own intuition and make sure that it is intuition. The definition of intuition is benign repetition. So if it's something that comes up often and not urgent and not heated and not bearing emotional weight to it, it's just like, oh, maybe I should, I always wanted to, or that sounds like a great idea and I almost did it once and then I just let it go. If it's a thing that keeps coming around again for you to try, it's meant for you. That's something that has your name on it, and it's going to keep doing it until you go through with it. Or you miss your window, you get too old, you get too locked into something else, and then you regret it. Oof, and that stings. That does not go away easy. But yes, so fact check information. What this person said, is it true? Is it still true? How do I feel about it? Okay. 2, listen. What people say and how they say it, right? Fast, loose speech, fast, loose certainties. Ask them. Listen and say, where did you get this information? Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're just repeating something, Conversation navigation is another big thing. So be mindful of the conversations that you get caught in and what your role in them is. Is it a conversation, a C-O, 2 people conversation? Or is it a monologue that you're kind of being fire hosed against the wall with? Speak with intention. Really, that's like advice for the season. Just speak with intention. And if you don't know something, then you don't know. Or you can say, this is what's true for me now. How are you? Well, what I can say is true for me now is that I'm really lucky to have the opportunities I have surrounding me. I don't know if they're the right ones, but I'm really lucky to have them right now. And I'm planning to see what might come up. It's vague, but if you're in a vague place, then that's correct. That's the truest thing you can say. Another big one is traditions and customs that have run their course. So with this Pluto moving into Aquarius, the Mars retrograde in Cancer, and then Venus eventually conjoining Pluto and Aquarius happening in a couple weeks, actually, before the end of the year for sure. The window is open to bow out of traditions that are no longer true, no longer valid, and no longer inspiring. So if it's something that you do just because it's always been done, you have the choice to adapt, migrate, die. You can kill it off. And I don't really want to do that anymore. I never liked mushrooms in the stuffing. They don't belong there. That has been the bane of I don't want mushrooms in the stuffing. I'm saying no. It can be that small, or it can be like, no, I'm not going to do the family photo. I'm 34 years old. I'm not going to stand there with some guy pretending to be Santa Claus. That's not okay for me anymore. Those things aren't true for me, but just examples. You have the right to refuse and lovingly release. You can say, this is no longer true for me. Thank you so much. Especially with the, where are you withholding love? Looking at that and being like, am I being the difficult one here? Do I need to soften where my spikes are out all the time? Where am I keeping love away from me, and is that serving me? Am I going home and being by myself and staring at a screen? Is that how I want every night to be for the rest of my life? Or do I want to work on letting my guard down a little bit? Do I want to work on being honest that it isn't fun for me to do everything alone? I want someone to go to Trader Joe's with and comment on the new almond butter, I want somebody to go on a hike with. I don't know how to do it by myself all the time. It'd be nice, even if we're not talking, just to have somebody to stop and breathe with and feel the sun next to. That might be nice. So where am I with keeping love from getting in? Where am I, making up rules in my head? Yeah, we all do that. The other thing, bold moves. Start something new, or finally laying something to rest. It's your life. Huddle up, deliberate. Is this something I really want? Is this something I've wanted for a while? Let's play the now or never game. Let's do it, Move one chess piece, just one pawn. That's it. You don't have to pull the king out. You just need to move one pawn and be like, okay, your move, universe. Okay, as promised, we have our winter horoscopes. These I will stay on script for. Starting with Aries. Okay, so if you are Aries rising, these will be by rising sign, most applicable. Listen first, rising sign, then your moon sign, then your sun sign. Okay, so listen for your rising, ascendant, then your moon, then your sun. Aries. Shifts in personal beliefs lead to feeling out of sync with your local surroundings. You may struggle to feel heard or understood by a regular crew. More resonance lies in novel, unexpected places, especially when you indulge a curiosity in the faiths, philosophies, and cultural practices of foreign cultures. So, hang out with somebody different, find a new crew, take a class, go to a new yoga studio, see what's happening in other bubbles. Okay, Taurus. Creative resourcefulness will help you tap into new revenue streams when old ones dry out. Be open to relocating or investing in trainings and certifications for more fruitful opportunities. Limit gift and travel spending to conserve when you need to. Avoid the temptation to deflect personal insecurities by spreading gossip. Okay? Okay, Taurus. Gemini moon, sun, rising. Gemini, you have been pulled away from cozy but flawed partnerships, and you're learning to rely on yourself in ways that you did not think you were ready for. It's not easy, but take pride in what you're building on your own. Positive energy flows in plowing through imposter syndrome and strategically asking for favors. Cancer. Examine where you've allowed others to hold you back from your true potential, right? Mars is going retrograde in your sign. It's time to assert new terms and conditions with partners based on what you need to thrive. Make sure you are listening to your body, Cancers. This winter, you may be more vulnerable to health issues and a recurrence of old symptoms. Leo. This season brings a tendency to push yourself too hard to compensate for where others have dropped the ball. Avoid being a glutton for punishment, Leo. You can't do everything for everyone, and that includes your children. Positive energy flows in fortifying a self-care routine and enhanced camaraderie with coworkers. You may run into an old romantic interest. Virgo. Virgo, everyone wants your time and attention. And because the demands are tied to your work, your career, your money, your income, you're going to find it difficult to say no. Seek medicinal stillness. Seek medicinal stillness, Virgo, to keep your brain from overheating. Claim moments of solitude where you can. You can make up for delays in homecoming or family visits by scheduling something in late January or February when the crowds and the travel prices decrease. Okay? We're putting up the Christmas tree on President's Day because I didn't have time. It's fine. We're breaking traditions. It's your life. Live it. Libra. Libra, be mindful of hiding from work and family to-dos. The responsibilities that you're putting off are ultimately for your own good, your own growth and expansion, what you've asked for. But that will not halt the temptation to escape on a spontaneous road trip or retreat or play date. Discipline your productivity, and you can set small reward activities to look forward to. Okay, I'm gonna say no to going to see Moana 2 today because I need to finish this and be on task, and I'll go this weekend, or I'll go Monday when everyone else is back at work. That kind of thing. Scorpio, budget your income to stay secure amidst payday slumps. Luckily, cheer and goodwill are free to spread. Mars in the 10th house for the Scorpio risings. And if you have Sun or Moon in Scorpio, this is still going to be somewhat applicable to you, yes. It's time to be seen and heard. So the more candid you are, the more magnetic you become. So not following the script of complaining, how are you? I'm good. Or, everything's getting so expensive, man. I can't tell you. Stop spreading that truth and stop perpetuating that reality. If you're honest, just be candid. How are you? Well, I stepped in gum and it finally gave me an excuse to throw away the shoes that I didn't like. I only put them on to go to a party, and I'm like, what, this is a bad idea. And I stepped in gum, so you know what? Throwing those away. Good riddance. Thank you. And now I get to go to Black Friday and buy new shoes. Or now, do you have recommendations? Ask them. Do you have recommendations? Yeah, people are hearing about stuff all the time. Because somebody for years may have just the key to help you reach a bigger goal. So you only get information that's actually helpful if you actually give real information about where you are. Okay. Sagittarius. Be careful of how many things you say yes to. Overestimating your stamina and social bandwidth can have you rescinding RSVPs. And that is okay, but try and be mindful of it before it happens. But let yourself off the hook from the pressure to keep up with appearances, and instead, use your time off to deep dive into something you've always wanted to explore. You're like, man, I really love how Japanese noodle makers, they just get up and they do the same thing, and there's such a process to it, and I want to learn about the tradition of Japanese noodle making. So find a documentary, find a YouTube video, someone has it. Okay. Udon versus sobi, and there's a whole world of Japanese pastas. Italy isn't the only place. Okay. Capricorn. The holidays test your patience as you wait for the world to come back from vacation to move your plans forward. Everyone stop hanging out with your family because I need my email responded to. Sore spots surrounding being single or in conflict with loved ones are assuaged by tokens of appreciation from those who value you for you. For your birthday, Capricorns, select an activity and invite the one person that you want to enjoy it with the most, right? Venus and Capricorn, we're limiting the softness, I want to go to I've always just wanted to walk through this botanical garden, and I've never had anyone to go with me. So it's my birthday, and hey, friend, I'm asking you specifically, will you go with me? I'm only asking you because I only want to have a conversation with one person right now. You're more likely to get what you want that way because they feel flattered and special. Okay, Aquarius. This winter is going to rock your world a little bit, Aquarius, sun, moon, risings. Push comes to shove as someone brings you into or kicks you out of a situation that really revises how you anticipated 2025 was going to go for you. Intimidating as the reroute sounds, that destination, that, vaudeville hook yanking you in another direction, it might actually bring you a lot closer to the long-term future. So it's like, okay, my 2025 is kind of out of my hands, but hey, I think I'm actually closer to the thing I've always wanted now. I wouldn't have known that or gotten here had I not been, yanked, because Pluto just entered Aquarius. So something big's coming up for everyone's chart, wherever Aquarius is. Know your chart, know your life. Pisces, returning to a previous community where you make the rounds of catching up with old neighbors and friends may prove more irritating than enriching. Ask yourself why you came back and remember the bigger picture. You are in the middle of building something, my Pisces, sun, moons, and risings, that's completely yours, that you can depend on, and no one else's opinion can touch that. Okay. Thank you very much. That is your Lunar Energy Advisory and your forecast for the remainder of 2024. Have a beautiful year. Merry Christmas. And be kind. Rewind. Much love. I will talk to you when the moon is full.